If you're a bookkeeper or if you are wanting to become one, there can be a lot of studying involved. Maybe you're studying for the Pro Advisor exam, or maybe you are in a class where you're getting a certification, or maybe you're doing some continuing education. But in any case, you're learning new skills. You're constantly learning. You're trying to figure out how you can be the best bookkeeper you can be. And I know all that studying can be really overwhelming. So in this video, I have 4 tips to help you study for your bookkeeper training. Number 1, I want you to make a plan. So this is really essential. And a lot of bookkeeper trainings might already have a plan kind of scheduled out for you. I know Bookkeeper Launch has like a 3-month calendar that you can follow. And if you do, a certain amount of things each week, then you'll complete the course in 3 months. But if there's not one already created for you, I think it's a great idea to really schedule out however long it's going to take you, a month or 2 months or 5 months, and figure out what you need to do by certain due dates. For me, this is really key for motivation because I don't know about you, but I'll start something really strong and then after a while my motivation kind of peters out. I am definitely most focused first thing in the morning. So figure out what time of day works well for you and maybe give yourself little rewards like week by week when you complete certain tasks. And I do have a video all about bookkeeper motivation. The thumbnail looks like this. You can check that out after you watch this video. So within that calendar, think about the different types of tasks that you have to do to study. So maybe some of it is watching videos. Maybe you can listen to an audio version of the video as you're taking your exercise walk or something in the morning. Or if you're doing household chores or maybe watching your kids, think about things you can do during that. And then there's probably going to be periods where you need to be really focused and maybe practicing some stuff in QuickBooks. So definitely think about all the tasks you have to do in your day and fit in the bookkeeper studying when it makes sense for your schedule. Number 2 is be proactive in your studying. And me personally, my just kind of style, if I'm in a classroom setting, is to kind of just hang to the back, not ask too many questions, just diligently do my homework at home, but not really get involved too much in the class. But what I eventually realized, both in college and then also in bookkeeper groups, is that the more involved I am, the more I get out of it. And I think part of it is just kind of mental. It's if people know me, then I feel comfortable asking questions. Then in turn, maybe I do more studying. But something about it, the more involved and proactive you are, I really believe that you're going to get more out of it. So say you sign up for a bookkeeper training where they have weekly coaching calls. This is a very common thing. I want you to try to submit questions on those calls. Instead of just listening to everyone else talk, I want your voice to be in there as well. Or if there's some kind of Facebook group or forum, again, which is very common if you're signed up for a bookkeeper training, then don't just read everyone's responses. Try to get in there and start replying to some of those responses. And if you don't know anything about bookkeeper trainings, I just came out with an updated video all about, there's 10 or 11 different options for bookkeeper training. The thumbnail looks like this, that's why I'm putting it right there. And that should definitely help you get started. I definitely recommend the free Pro Advisor certification if you're starting out, as well as I love Bookkeeper Launch, and Booming Bookkeeping Business is also a great option. All of the links will be in my description box if you're interested in that. And if we haven't met before, my name is Morgan. My website is finepoints.biz. I have a free checklist and masterclass you might want to check out if you're thinking about being a bookkeeper. If this channel seems like a good fit, definitely hit the red subscribe button down below, and it always helps me out a lot if you can give this video a thumbs up. And the last thing I want to say about being proactive is just make sure you are learning the material as you are studying. You're not just letting it go in one ear and out the other, but you're taking notes if you need to. You are practicing if that is an option. So you maybe did pay some money for a course that you're taking, or you want to definitely use these skills in real life. So the more you can be proactive and really learn the stuff, the better. Tip number 3 is know your goal. So there's probably different goals to different types of studying. So if you're starting out, if you're just trying to learn a bunch about bookkeeping, kind of get an overview, that's going to be maybe one type of studying. If you have a client and you're trying to learn a certain thing, I do a lot of YouTubing, specific questions. If I'm wait, I don't understand this part of bill pay, or they changed something, I need to figure out this one specific question, I'll look on YouTube and see if there's any tutorials. So that is a really real life application. So that is another type of learning. And then I also just did a video about the Pro Advisor recertification. So in that case, I really was studying to take a test, which of course in a perfect world, you would always want to be studying so you can apply everything super well. But in some cases, you need to just study the material that's on the test and almost cram for it like we did in high school, where you just study a bunch of material and really memorize it right before the test. So if you know your goal, that is going to help you a lot. Do you need a just get an overview? Do you need to apply it? Are you studying for a specific test? And that is going to determine kind of like the style of your studying, right? And the other part of the know your goal is think about the reward when you're done. So what is the reward going to feel like? Is it that you passed your certification and then you don't have to think about it again? Is it that you're becoming a pro advisor so you can make that profile and try to get more better clients? I did just do a video about all the benefits of being a pro advisor. The thumbnail looks like this, so you can check that out afterwards. And I don't know about you, but part of the reward for me is just being able to stop studying and stop learning and just be able to put my knowledge to work for real clients. That's really the satisfying part in my opinion. So that in itself is a reward, being able to get out of the learning phase and into the actually making money phase where you're really helping people. Maybe you're building up bookkeeping as a side hustle and then you can quit your full-time job, which you really dislike. Maybe you can work less and hang out with your kids more. Maybe you're being a bookkeeper so you can be more free to travel and work from anywhere. All those things are really great rewards about being a bookkeeper. So make sure when you're in the trenches really studying and you're getting unmotivated and you're getting frustrated, that you really remember that why, the reason that you're doing that, and the reward at the end of the tunnel. And number 4 is know your learning style. So you've probably heard about learning styles before. I personally needed a little refresher on what exactly the learning styles were. There's different versions of them. I'll leave an article linked below that I thought just made it really concise. But basically, the learning styles that are kind of universally agreed on are visual, auditory, kinesthetic, and reading/writing. So I'll just briefly talk about each of those and then how that might relate to your bookkeeper training. So visual has more to do with patterns and shapes. I thought it would be like watching a video, but really it's like if there is like a flow chart or some kind of picture or pattern within your bookkeeper training, that is really going to apply to the visual learner. Maybe someone is teaching you about debits and credits and they are able to sketch out like a table that really makes sense to you as a visual learner. Then really capitalize on that, and that is really going to make sense to you. Or I find that even acronyms are really helpful for me. So if, someone has like an acronym that's like MATH, math, each letter helps you remember something about bookkeeping. If I just like have that acronym picture in my mind, that's really helpful. And then auditory is of course listening. That is really going to be good for, like I mentioned, a lot of programs let you download the audio, or maybe there's a podcast as a companion that you can listen to. You are going to really benefit by saying things out loud and maybe participating in those coaching calls that I mentioned. And usually different trainings have different aspects to kind of complement each learning style because they know that people learn differently. But I think it's your job to kind of adapt all of the parts of the training to fit your learning style. So for example, if you're supposed to do a practice test, which is the kinesthetic one, maybe you are saying things out loud as an auditory learner. So you can kind of adapt each activity to your style. And the third learning style is kinesthetic, which is learning by doing. I think this is my strongest learning style. Like I can learn, listen, and then I really get it when I'm actually in QuickBooks and trying it out. A lot of programs that you're going to go through will have some kind of practice. And so I personally would really take advantage of those practice sessions or those practice tests and stuff. And that is really gonna help cement it in my mind. And then the last learning style is reading/writing. So this is pretty straightforward, but you would do well if they have the transcript of what is being said. So I'll do that a lot of times. I'll be listening. If I'm getting confused or something's not sticking in my brain, I'll be listening to the video and then I'll be reading along with the transcript because I think that gets it better in my brain when I'm reading along. As well as taking notes, that's going to be a big help for you. And then quizzes are also a really helpful thing associated with this learning style. So I hope your studies go well. I want to encourage you to stay motivated as much as possible. And even if you go through a week or a month or longer of a little break, don't feel bad about that. That is totally normal. You can always pick it back up and start studying again. All right, I will be talking to you next week with another bookkeeping video. Again, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Thank you guys. Bye.